Is it
And
reading?
welcome to another episode of the show that's never existed before because this is the first time we're ever doing it. We're welcoming you to the final day countdown stream for Mythics #2 by Matt Trin, now crowdfunding on Kickstarter. So they'll appreciate you joining us today. We're trying to get this thing over the edge. So without further ado, welcome Matt and Matt.
Nice to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. So where are we currently sitting campaign? What's it looking like right now?
I just refreshed it, just checking. Technically, you got 4 minutes to an hour, but well, anyway, it's sitting at $2,636 with 73 backers. Currently,
very nice, man.
It's just under half of the people we got for the Mythverse campaign, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to see that, huh? It shows that you're getting a lot of returning people.
Yep. Although, the thing about that is, I checked the dashboard.
By the way, people watching on this, who are watching on the stream, will probably be joined in a little bit by some of the other Mythiverse crew. So look forward to that. I know they're pretty excited about Mythics #2 as well.
Okay, so out of
we go ahead.
Okay, out of the 62 followers, we converted 12 of them to backers. So, if it's anything, it shows how the pandemic has really affected the landscape for crowdfunding.
That's for sure. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, this is definitely a good gauge to see where the market's at right now. Mm-hmm. I think you guys have done really good job with with everything going on. So I think it's pretty cool, man. Even if you guys don't make it today, I think you should be proud of what you guys have accomplished, and it definitely gives you an idea where to go forward from here.
Oh yeah, and unless we get a $1,500 donation, we probably aren't going to make it. But
come on, rich millionaires out there, we're looking at you.
Yeah, come on. Where's all these Nigerian princes that people keep getting messages from?
Sugar daddies.
Where's that?
All that, man. I'm into it.
Maybe not the scam part, but the actual money part.
Right, we're gonna have to work on that.
Oh, definitely.
But I mean, I know you've also talked about maybe mixing up perks next time, and so it does sound like you guys have a plan going forward. So when we talked yesterday on our stream.
Yeah.
So
and Beth has a new iPad to do art on, so
nice.
We can give. We could set up recordings of her drawing for the updates.
That'd be cool, man. Yep. Live creations as they happen.
That's pretty innovative. I don't think anybody's done that yet.
I know there's a few guys on YouTube doing it, but there's not too many out there. I like to see more of that.
Campaign updates and everything else like that.
True. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, not necessarily specifically for a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, could kind of help bring people along for the ride as it unfolds, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be cool, man.
And right now, the way I'm looking at it is that this is a way to figure out what we did wrong, what we can do better, and to see how many people we can get on Indiegogo. Because it's clear that the whole thing between Kickstarter and Indiegogo is like the competition between PC and console or Xbox and PlayStation. You're going to get people who aren't going to go on one platform, but what they will do it for another.
Right. We talked a little about that on our stream yesterday. Hopefully, maybe I've seen a lot of people doing the thing where they'll do Indiegogo and Kickstarter. So, who knows? Maybe that'll become more the norm going forward. That could be interesting.
I think it will, simply because of how COVID has changed the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not only that, it's like kind of what Matt was saying with the whole console wars. A lot of these game companies that don't have exclusivity from either PlayStation, PC, or even Xbox, they all have they all go through all the platforms to try and to market to their product in a sense, so that this way they can accumulate as much as they can while building a fan base, and then not only that, later on just seeing which market worked best for them and try going for an exclusive contract.
Yep, and the only ones who can actually keep it with one site would be the ones who were able to do it in the past. The ones who are making the big bucks on each website because they built up the following week. It's all very interesting to me.
Oh, it's funny, man. Well, definitely want to see. Hope you guys make it. Even despite the long odds, and it would be amazing to see.
It would be a miracle on the same scale as Jack Iron's issue 3.
Oh yeah, it would. We need that, man. We need that energy. Let's get us some Jack Iron's energy right now.
Unfortunately, as I said before, the people who came to get Cody's back were built up over time that he was putting together these comics.
You'll get there, man.
And these 73 backers who came in and supported Mythics issue 2, they're a product of our building up since over the course of 1 year, which is very good because, like I said, we've got a pandemic going on, and we're going to need we're not going to have the same people coming in because they may have lost their job or their state is shut down and their governors are flip-flopping on whether or not to reopen.
True. Yeah, it's a tough time, that's for sure, man. But I think you can be happy for every backer that you received, despite whatever happens.
Yeah.
It's crowdfunding is it's a tough game, and not everyone's going to get it on their first round. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 go rounds. Look at Jack Irons. Before we met him, Jack Irons even failed. So
yeah, Cody. I remember Cody talking about it. It's just after seeing how successful the campaign for issue 1 and 2 was, it's surprising, as well as how much he brought in for issue 3, even if he were to fail on it. So even if the Jack Irons issue 3 campaign failed, he brought in way more than anyone else who's running a second campaign on a platform could. And that's something to be proud of.
That's true, man. No, that's a good point. Now, maybe you could talk a little about your plans. Like, let's say it doesn't make it today. What's the plan going forward? Or how are we going to get our next part? Part of this Mythiverse story.
Well, my plan is to run both Kickstarter and Indiegogo, much like what's going on with projects like Saving the World. And one thing is that I plan on doing is weekly lore streams where I talk the Mythics side of the Mythoverse, and I'm going to have a specific topic for each one. So on one, you'll get one about the Mythic Order itself. On the other, you'll get one on the Spirit Realm where they came from, as well as another on how familiars work, how they unlock the focus potential of a mythic.
It's pretty awesome, man. Yeah. I think people really enjoy that. Now, we were just joined by another creator, Brett, another part of the Mythiverse.
Hey,
Welcome.
Brett.
Hi.
How's it going today, Brett?
All right, I guess.
How's the weather out there?
Cloudy.
I could go for some clouds right about now.
Funny thing is that I was promised thunderstorms today.
Oh man, shit, dude. Brett has clouds. Matt has promised thunderstorms, and I don't have like any clouds in the sky unless it's near the mountains.
Well, the forecast promised thunderstorms. There's not a cloud in sight.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's typical.
Boy, am
I
I
can never
glad
get it
I'm not
right.
working right now.
Oh God, that'd be awful, wouldn't it?
Well, the fact that I work near a metro park, which is open for free for today, that's going to send a lot of people out there.
Sounds like a lovely time.
Oh yeah.
Now, Brett, you didn't get to join us on yesterday's stream, but we did a stream yesterday for Mythics. We were just kind of talking about the characters and the settings and whatnot. And kind of dove into the backstory a little bit.
I would have been there if I'd been at work. I hadn't been at work, but I was.
That sucks, man. Working on the weekend is never fun.
That's what it is.
Now, Elfie, she always is working. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, if she's as a writer, she's kind of stuck with that because her mind's always on how could she make this look like a good story, or developing ideas in her head. Sometimes they'll cause her not to sleep at night too, much like a changeling baby.
Which changeling baby do you speak of? I know not of what you speak.
Early, the one she saved in the last issue.
I wonder who's more popular, Arlene or Baby Maeve?
Well, they've seen more of Baby Maeve.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we haven't really touched on this weekend is, along with the Kickstarter, you guys are bringing out a trade paperback version that includes all the MythGVs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're working on it. What we got is probably going to be the first time they'll ever be available in the collected edition with the 3 issue ones. But the year one omnibus is to show everyone what we were able to get done in a year. And we are very proud of what we accomplished in a year.
Here's the cover for it, correct?
Yeah, I've seen that.
So, who did this piece? Who's the artist on this one?
We only know her by her first name, Mina.
Yep.
Very nice. Yeah, this one came out really nice, I thought.
And believe it or not, that's her first paid commission.
Wow.
Yeah, up until this point, she mainly did fan art.
Well, that's awesome, man. She definitely has like a kind of a manga anime aesthetic going on there.
Yep. And she did very well with replicating the art style from MythiCs.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's nice to kind of see both the MythiCs version over here, but then you also got the the more standard versions of them. So it's a cool cover right there.
Yep.
Now in the chat, Paula Ritchie says, "Hey guys, I'm rooting for you."
Thank you, Paula.
Thanks, Paula. Doesn't look like doesn't look like it's gonna make gold this time, but all things considered, it did okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys, like me and Matt were talking about, you guys made back, what you guys made for the Mythics in the first one, or I mean, I'm guessing there.
Well, with
I mean, you got people back, yeah, or with the well, you got all your Mythics crew back, or you know what I mean, like all the readers for Mythics came back, is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Yeah.
As far as we
Well,
can tell,
actually, well, the thing is, we didn't sell any single issues of Mythics. It was always with Changelink or Adobe Kroger, so we actually gained 73 backers.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, everything considered, that's really good, because the whole thing is that, sure, they bought it with a bundle, but having at least years with it kind of made them think, well, I wonder how Mythics 2 is going to be, So they were probably on the fence about it, like some of these people who bought yesterday or even the day before that or even 2 days ago. Some of those people were probably the ones that had originally bought Changeling or Adobe Kroger that came with Mythics, part of the bundle, and decided, you know what, I really like Chapter 1, so I'm going to actually root for Chapter 2. Let's do it.
Yeah. I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously, man.
Yeah, that's probably the case.
Now, here's some prints that were given out during the campaign.
Yep.
This one's a popular piece.
Yep, that's in our digital pack.
Nice.
For the prints.
Very good. That one shows Adobe and Althea having some beach time.
Yep.
Man, I'm jealous of that picture. It's like I'm so hot right now. I wish I could go to the beach right now. Gosh dang.
And do want people to take one thing from this, just because it looks like we're sort of failed at this campaign, it does not mean we're going to get discouraged.
No, of course not.
Yeah, good thing with crowdfunding is you can always try again.
Well, exactly, and sometimes that's all it takes is just another go around to make it work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we definitely tried a lot of the same things we did with the first campaign, and considering how successful it was, as that kind of tells us that those were working.
Mm-hmm.
Though I do think one thing that was working against us this time around was, I think it was bad timing on our part.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Who could have predicted how things would turn out? And I mean, at least you guys gave it your best shot, and you can now see where it didn't work and where it did work. And it looks like we're joined by the third of the Mythiverse.
Oh, it's
Dan Sakurao himself.
Hello.
Hey, Dan.
What's up?
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing great, man. How about yourself?
Very good. Thanks for asking. It's been raining all day, and it's going to rain all day tomorrow. So
stop! You're making me jealous. Oh God.
I'm not complaining.
So
my crops are happy.
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
I did not have to go out and water them today. God did
Farmer
that.
Dan over here.
Yeah.
We got a Farmer Dan in their building.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to harvest the beans.
Nice.
Yeah.
Green beans?
Yes, they're pole beans, specifically speaking.
Pole beans.
Yeah, they grow vertically, and they sprout these little white flowers, and out of the flowers grow these little plump pods of about 4 to 5 different beans, and you can eat them right off the plant.
Wow.
They're delicious. Yeah, that's how these things get to the supermarket.
Yep.
My God.
Yeah, right on their tails are some carrots, strawberries, and cucumbers. And by Halloween, we should have a nice sized pumpkin patch.
Ooh, very good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I taught myself to grow food over the last 2 months. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's at least you just did something valuable with your time, you know.
I tried,
Taught yourself
yes.
something. Now, in the chat here,
Salem's got a good point. Give it
Yeah, I
about a
was
month
just
so
about to bring
when
that
it gets
up.
back to work, and then people will probably be willing to pay for some much needed escapism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, entertainment was the one industry that thrived during the Great Depression, but the one problem that we had is that we can't provide immediate gratification like the vaudevillians and or the cinema. So
Sadly.
Hey, well, even the cinema can't do that anymore.
yeah, cinema can't do that, you know.
Crazy, ain't it? I would love to go to the theater right now and cool off. I could literally do a whole stream about how hot it is here.
Of course you could.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's 98 degrees right now, and I have no air conditioning at my house at the moment.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's
awful.
dreadful. That's dreadful.
Oh God. That's why I was like, when I was seeing that beach pic, I was like, oh man, that looks nice over there with the Elthia and Adobe down here.
I'm sure
on the
you're
beach.
looking at the beach, yeah.
I just
Sure, Michael, you're looking at the beach.
Oh yeah.
Look at
Eyes on the
those
beach,
waves.
that's exactly right, man.
Look at those clouds and that pristine blue water and that little
That's the sand, the nice soft sand.
Healthy spot.
healthy as
Oh
fuck.
yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah, I didn't notice that. That was, oh yeah.
The question I get asked most often about this piece is where did Adobe draw her swords out of? And I always say, well, dude, her top is larger on the inside, obviously.
It's magical. It's like Mary Poppins bra.
Well,
Deal.
if you see in Adobe Kroger issue 1, she has these 2 sheaths that are about 5 inches long, and they contain the swords. So why the hell not her top?
Hey man, it makes sense to me. As much sense as it needs to, at least.
As my
funny.
at the time 2-year-old daughter told me, "Daddy, it's not real." So
Yeah, exactly. Don't look too much into it. That's funny. Everyone in the chat's like giving their own. Like Salem says, anything above 70 degrees is death. Paula Richard says, meanwhile, my husband is trying to freeze me to death with the AC. Nice. That's funny. But yeah. So Mythoverse. What you guys got going on in the future for Mythoverse? I mean, beyond Mythics, do you guys have plans for Changeling and Adobe?
of course,
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you want to go, do you want to go first, Dan?
Sure. Leandro just turned in page 13. And there's going to be 36 pages in issue 2. It's going to be slightly thicker than the previous issue. I've reached out to Brett Smith. He's going to be coloring the cover again.
That's awesome.
And he's got the line art. So as soon as that's done, I'm going to start showing that off and start building hype for issue 2. Leandro is hard at work on page 14 right now. And my plan is to launch a campaign once the interiors are complete and I'm ready to send it off to production, so that as soon as the campaign ends, everyone gets their book.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
On my
It's
end,
nice to see if you're making progress on that front, man.
Yep. Leandro is working as hard as he can under his conditions. He's in the Philippines, and he was experiencing harsher lockdown conditions than I was, where I was living. And he said he was absolutely grateful that Adobe was still moving forward. It's been one of the things that's been keeping him paid.
Definitely good.
And that makes me happy. I'm glad I'm able to help him out while he helps me out.
And he also did the volcano there before that. So
Yep.
got a lot going on in the Philippines.
Wait, was he near that? Was he near that volcano? I thought that was.
He wasn't affected by it.
That's good. At least, yeah. That's definitely good.
Yeah, I didn't think he was.
Yeah, Philippines. There's a lot of islands, so I think there's the most islands of any country in the world. We could be wrong about that. Don't quote me, but I believe so.
New Zealand's an island. New Zealand's an island nation.
Yep.
Do they have as many? I mean, do they have a bunch of islands, or is it just like one giant island? I've never. Too much.
I think it's the North Island and the South Island.
I would love to go to New Zealand one day. We have to do a Mythoverse story in New Zealand. That'd be pretty exciting.
And one of my best friends that happens to live in New Zealand, I could probably ask him for help on that.
There you go. And then you guys can walk to Mount Doom or whatever from Lord of the Rings.
So that also depends on whether or not it's going to erupt.
Wait, what was that, Matt?
That depends on whether or not it's going to erupt.
It'll be fine. But yeah, can you give us some updates on Changeling, Brent?
Okay. I just want everyone to know right now that Leo is mauling my arm right now.
That's your cat, right?
Kitten. And he's my roommate.
His name is Leo?
Yeah. He's a
See, I was thinking Leandro had shown up and was gnawing on your arm or something. I was like, man, Leandro must be hungry or something. Damn.
Hopefully not.
He bites me on the arm. He bites me all the time.
Really? Man. Well, vicious cat.
He's a kitten. He's like 3 months old.
Yikes. We're dealing with a 3-month-old puppy, and she's very bitey herself. So I guess I get where you're coming from with that.
It's their teeth. It's the same thing with babies, you know?
Yeah.
That's why they're always trying to gnaw and stuff. They're trying to find a way to where their gums can break through and start getting weaker and everything else like that. I didn't really realize that until my roommate was, because when their son was really starting to teeth and everything, he was doing all that. And I was like, wait, why is he doing that? They're like, he's teething right now, a lot of his teeth. And I was like, oh, wait, really? They're like, yeah, it's the same thing with most animals. I'm like, I never knew that.
But
it's
3 months old. That's practically teenager for a cat.
Not really. Teenager for a cat's like 2-3 years old, because that's when they're like really wanting to be independent from you. I kind of lived with a lot of cats all my life, so I kind of really understood that part, but I never understood the teething part. But it kind of makes sense because even they have baby teeth. So as it starts getting weaker, they'll start wanting to gnaw on a few things, so that this way it can hopefully come out quicker.
Oh yeah, you'll be
just
seeing the teeth
extract them
fall
like
out.
us.
Yeah, you'll start seeing cat teeth around in weird places. That'll be fun. You know what I think is really funny is Salem here says the cat is actually my familiar sense to make your life hell.
Makes sense. He's a black cat too.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
No, it sounds about right with most black cats.
Especially with Salem.
Yeah, here's a fun fact. Black cats are the least likely to get adopted.
Oh, poor guy.
It's because of that stigma of them being bad luck.
So, dude, get your break. It's poor cats.
Tuxedos, though, oh man, because even after you fix them, they're one of the cats that it's somewhat common for them to
I think we should.
afterwards.
I'm just gonna move past this image. I'm not even gonna talk about that image. Go watch our last video if you really care about knowing why.
Yeah, we kind of got taken down.
Oh no, we're not going there. We're not going there. Nope.
Hey, we made you show that our stream and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Don't look into this at all anymore.
All I have to say is Dylan's the stream killer.
We did get a lot of sexy swimsuit art out of it in Defiance, though. So, but yeah, to bring everyone up to speed on Changeling. So, Victor's half of the book has already been paid for. It's now in Ginger's hands at this point, at least for the coloring.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm good. She's wrapping up a couple more concept concept art that I paid her for. She actually posted a sneak peek of it on her Instagram. I will find it. Let me pull it up.
Excuse me. Now, Salem the cat is the most realistic representation of a cat's personality. What does that mean exactly?
I don't know. I'm paying attention.
No, at least I'm not the only one. Sorry, Salem. I'm not sure. Are you saying you're a cat? I'm not really.
No,
exactly
I
sure.
think he's talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh yeah. That cat's name was Salem. That's right. Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
I forgot that.
Me too. It's been a while. Mm-hmm.
And I also remembered that
I haven't even watched the new series. My fiance loves it, and I'm like, I had to watch that crap when in the '90s, so I'm okay. She's like, it's a lot more different. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It does not
Dude, the
matter to
original was
me.
the shit, dude. You got the Quizler and the cat and the Sabrina, and that's about it. But no, it was good.
I'm okay. I'm okay off the old school '90s cheesy
You had to been
sitcom
there.
stuff.
You had to been there, man. In the 90s.
I would probably agree with Salem, though. I mean, like, he was a pretty lazy cat. He just
True.
didn't. He was a lazy cat. Did not care about anything but himself. That is a cat to a T. They're lazy. They're selfish and apathetic.
Cats.
But by the way, I just DM'd you the link over Twitter. Do you want to show that?
What's this one of?
Concept art Ginger's been making of some trolls.
Nice. And I'm assuming we're not talking about the internet type. We're talking about the mythical type.
Yeah, and from what I can tell, these trolls seem to have more of a Slavic kind of vibe to them, I think.
I've heard Slavic trolls before. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is interesting. I love this piece here. This is awesome. I can't wait to share this because I'm a huge fan of mythology and myth. Folklore. That's one of the big reasons we wanted to go bring you guys onto the team. And so this is a really cool image here. So what can you tell us about this image?
Like I said, all I did was kind of I just told Ginger make some trolls, and I didn't really give her much direction. She just took the ball and ran with it.
Anything you can tease about this? For Changeling 2, I see. Oh, very good.
Yeah,
very
that's
good.
about it.
Right. So yeah, I am very excited for Changeling number 2. It seems like you're really kind of doing some interesting stuff that really sets it apart from the first issue.
Well, yeah, like the big thing is we kind of want to follow up on the big thing that we want to do is just follow up on the events from the first issue and kind of show more of the world.
Okay.
Well, Ginger's been having fun just coming up with all different kinds of Fae races that'll appear in it, and
this troll reminds me of? Have you guys ever heard of kitten witches?
No.
Well, when I was a kid, there was this thing called kitchen witches, and there were these adorable little hand sculpted figurines that you could hang in your kitchen, and they would do their thing to protect your kitchen from evil spirits. And they had a style very similar to this, very roly poly with large noses and very friendly expressions. Yeah. So that this image here of the trolls definitely brings me back.
Oh, that's cool, man. I love the detail on this one.
Like I said, it looks like there seems to be kind of a Slavic theme to these trolls. I'd have to get Ginger's word on that one if that's what she was going for.
Dude's eyebrow game on the right there is amazing. I mean, he's got some bushy brows right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they came out amazing, honestly.
But like I said, like I got Victor's line work has all been paid for. Or so now it's just so now we just got to get Ginger paid for, and I'm more or less going to be holding off on running a campaign until it's all done.
Okay. And I know I talked a little bit with Matt already about that he plans to come back if Mythics doesn't make it. What's the time frame? Is Mythics going to come back before the other two? Are we going to see the other two come back first? What's the plan?
I think I'm going to have Mythics come back after I've got the script rewritten for some new rewards planned for cameos, because I realized that the script as is right now doesn't really allow for it.
You got more cameo backers than you bargained for, didn't you?
No, we don't have. I don't have the cameo up yet, so it's going to be on the next one. And since we're going on both Indiegogo and Kickstarter, it's going to be. I'm going to need a lot more than what I have in the script.
Yeah, but it would be hard to fit in the cameos with the already written script. I can see that would be difficult to fit it in.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I would love to see that myself. People really enjoy being able to see their characters or themselves or whatever it is, pop up in the comic. I think people really like that.
Yeah, I have a canon cameo starting with Adobe Kroger issue 3. We ran a contest during the first campaign where I asked people to design Adobe's 16-year-old mugshot, and the winner would be written in as a canon character. So the artist Andre Leal will be appearing as an associate of Adobe Kroger starting in issue 3.
Nice. That's cool. Nice, man. Have you already written up to Adobe 3 then?
Yeah, I currently have the first 5 issues scripted out and the first 12 planned. So we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome.
It may end up being less, may end up being more. It all depends on because Leandro really does determine how certain things flow, because I resolved after issue 1 that I would give him much more leeway. Like I would provide him the details, in particular the action scenes. I just tell him this is roughly what I want to have happen, but I'll leave the staging up to you. And that's how I got this amazing 2-page spread, was because he conceptualized that on his own. So I definitely want to give him that kind of freedom. And if it turns out that I need more issues or less, or more pages or less, then I'll see where he takes me.
Very nice, man. Well, that's great, man. So it sounds like progress is being made all across the Mythiverse, not just on the Mythic side of things. Yeah.
We are 3 very hardworking men, and we are not taking a break. I don't think we've taken a day off from the Mythiverse in well over a year. At least I haven't.
What's a break?
Yeah, seriously. What's a break? I mean, aside from Adobe Kroger, I've written I'm on my 3rd short story that will be turned into an audiobook for the Patreon this year. Let me see. Brett and I have read about almost 6 hours worth of audio for the YouTube channel on our public domain readings. I've done many reviews. Brett's done a couple reviews. And it's not just the comics. We're turning in all kinds of, like, what was it, like 2 straight weeks of daily podcasts on the Patreon between myself and Brett. Yeah, we're hardworking people. We don't sit around and wait for stuff to happen. We try new things. We see what works, what doesn't. If something works, we keep at it. If something doesn't work, we shift gears and recalibrate and see what the best course of action is to take. But we're always trying new things. We're always at least brainstorming if we're not doing anything. We've been behind the scenes. We've been planning, like in the event that Mythics doesn't hit goal, what do we do? Because it's going to come out regardless. And we have backup plans in place. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, would you ever guys consider going back to doing, all 3 comics in one campaign again?
Well, that seriously depends on how well we can coordinate our production schedules, because as it stands right now, Adobe Kroger is going to be the long comic this time around.
Is that so? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, my script currently is 36 pages for issue 2.
Okay,
Yeah, so it would be difficult to say, hey, Mythics is going to be 24 pages, and Changeling is going to be 24 pages.
right.
And I wouldn't want them to wait around for Leandro to be done if they're already done, etc. And that would just
it definitely makes. I know that you guys had a lot of issues with that and other things in the first round, so it definitely makes it more tricky.
Yeah, it is. Especially if we're all pulling from the same budget and we all have only budgeted to be fulfilled all at once. It just adds layers of complexity that makes the experience for the backers less pleasant.
Right, it's just easier up front to make things easier for everyone, really.
Yeah, we want to serve our customers in the most expedient manner possible. We don't want them to be sitting around waiting for one book that's late when we have 2 other books that are ready to go, and whichever book that ends up being. And and I don't want to restrict either of our creative freedoms at the same time and say, because I've decided that I want to fulfill in June, you have to fulfill in June too. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that.
Because what if Matt isn't ready to fulfill in June yet, and all of a sudden you have to make creative compromises because I decided I want to fulfill in June. So I don't want that to happen anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if the first campaign did anything, it at least got attention. So
our brand is out there, and we built a hell of a community out of it. And that was really our goal, was to see, hey, does anyone like our ideas? Does anyone like our ideas enough to hang out with us in our Discord and get to know us and hang out with us once a week on our streams or on movie nights? That's all been working brilliantly, and we've met a lot of really amazing artists and writers that are really passionate about their own work, and they're eager to get their work into our universe, and they're looking to us to get stuff done and to help lift them up when it's their turn. So that's why Brett, Matt, and I just don't ever have a day off.
Gotta keep hustling, man.
Yeah, we got a lot of people relying on us.
Exactly. Yeah. Now you have a Patreon as well. What do you guys got going over at the Patreon side of things?
Okay, the Patreon is what's taking up a lot of my time these days, because what we were trying to do is establish a subscription model where we would incentive, since we don't really have ongoing content, since we had to budget Mythics out of our plans for the moment. The trick was to establish an incentive for people to continue to support us. So what we did was we came up with a number of subscription services, merchandise-based and comic-based, and now most recently content-based. We had the daily podcast at about 5 or between 2.5 to 5 minutes long, which were just like our thoughts for the day. Brett and I both did that. We send out a new exclusive sticker every month that I design here and my wife produces on her Cricut here at home. So it's all handmade and one of a kind and not available anywhere else. We do the same thing with T-shirts that we design here and produce here in-house. So it's not available on the Mytho merch store. So that's exclusive to patrons. We also have the Patreon variants that will be one cover variant per issue, per book. And for this round, I commissioned the great Mr. Marvel to produce a 3-part cover for all 3 of our books. And all of those have gone out to patrons, and that goes out once a month. Also, the patrons have access to behind-the-scenes sketches. They have access to exclusive audiobooks. We're on our 3rd one right now, and these are all audiobooks that I've written that aren't necessarily Mythoverse canon, but they're fun little children's books or fun little performances that you can get into. And so we're all about providing ongoing content that will incentivize patrons to not only support our comics, but to also get a lot of extra value out of it, and to get more interested in our brand as a whole, not just in our individual books. So that's a lot of my work of late has been keeping that fulfilled and keeping that content flowing in. And ultimately, we would like to just move entirely to the Patreon. Matt and Brett and I sat down and worked out a budget that we would need to keep our artists constantly paid and producing. And that's our current goal on the Patreon right now. If we can get that every month, then we would be able to pay our artists continuously and have them be able to put out an issue of each Mythiverse title once every 3 months or quarterly. And that's our ultimate goal, is to just not ever crowdfund again and just have a big community that keeps us going, keeps the machine going.
Nice, man. And that's why you're trying to build up that fan base with the Kickstarter, with the other things you're doing, and then you can transition to that eventually.
Well, Brett is doing an amazing job at keeping the community engaged. That's his primary role in the Mythiverse. Is he's our PR guy and our community outreach guy, and he's on the Discord all the time, keeping people entertained and keeping people, chatting with each other and having a good time. And he's come up with a lot of good ideas for community engagement. And that's really going to be where it all comes from. Like, if we can get a large enough community going that's behind us and likes hanging out with us and checking out our content, then we will be able to keep making new things on a regular basis, because we'll have a steady budget. And that's what we want to get away from, the occasional infusion of cash every couple of months, to like a regular monthly budget that we can make steady plans around, that we can say, okay, Leandro, you're going to have Adobe Kroger issue 3 to work on for these next 3 months, and here's your money, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that would be so nice, wouldn't it? I mean, that's really the dream right there.
Yeah, and we have the budget. We know what our goal is for that, and our Patreon is, we've got about 30. We have 30 backers on the Patreon right now, and it's self-sustaining in that I'm able to pay for all the rewards and have a little bit left over every month that I'm just saving. But I would absolutely love to get to that goal so that we can just churn these books out once every 3 months. I have all the scripts. I just got to be able to pay Leandro to like devote the time to getting them out fast.
Right, exactly. Because it's not like it's easy stuff. That's high professional quality art they're putting out, so they're definitely taking their time with it.
Yeah, and if I could say, hey, Leandro, here's all the money for issue 3. Devote all your time to getting this out. and he would absolutely do it. I think the only thing that's stopping him from doing it is that he can't make a living solely on the page work he's doing for me.
Right, exactly, yeah. Well, that's awesome. I definitely hope that you guys can get there one day. You and all the other guys on the Wicked team. That's definitely what we want for you guys as well.
Well, thank you. I think it is possible. It's just going to take time. It's very tempting to take that ticket and to go on one of the big streams and just say, hey, get me funded in 5 hours. But then there's a lot of unseen costs that come with that down the line that people don't tend to take into account. And that can really come back to bite them. So we're not doing that. We're building it the long, hard way, but it will be all us. And it'll be something we built ourselves, and it'll be pure and, done for the right reasons. Not because we want a quick buck, but because each and every one of us has a very strong desire to tell all these stories that have been inside us for years, and we want to be able to share them with the world, because we think the world needs a little bit more beautifully true things out there right now. And I think each one of us has a beautiful true story within us, and we gotta tell it, period.
And I think that's what makes the Mythiverse so cool, is that it's not just one person's story, it's so many different people's stories. It's a whole collection, and you're all bringing to the table.
Right. I mean, all of us are taking one little piece of like the beautiful Western master narrative, and we're just saying these are good stories. There's a reason they're timeless, and we're trying to show you, like, through our modern retellings of these stories, like just how important they are to pass on and to preserve. That's one reason we do all the readings, the public domain book readings of all the legends, like Norse mythology, Celtic mythology, Greek, Roman mythology. Like, these are one of the pillars of our civilization, is our stories and our legends. And we're trying to tell those timeless stories in our own little way.
That's awesome, man. And there's so much to look forward to in the future of Mythiverse as well. Like, you have so many new creators that'll be coming on in the years to come, and so many new stories that people can look forward to learning about. And
Yes.
Mage, Adobe, and Althea's story is just the tip of the iceberg, really.
Yep. They're really the vessels through which we enter this universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like Adobe is just one small part of a very large story. Now she's the center point of her own story, but she's a very small fish in a very large ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot more going on than just what we see from her point of view.
Yep. Yeah. That's awesome, man. A lot to look forward to. And as Paul Ritchie says in the chat here, build it right.
Yeah, we're trying to. Thanks, Paula.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're good at playing the long games. Well, I'm a dad. You know, I have 3 kids. I know what it means to defer gratification and take your time. I know what it means to have to plan a tree under whose shade you might never sit, but you need to plant it and care for it anyway.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's dedication that you guys have right there. That really shows it. Well,
did we lose Matt?
I think we have Matt here.
Did.
No,
We did.
no, we don't have Matt here. The man of the hour, and he's not here. Come back, Matt. We won't yell at you. We promise. We still like you.
Yeah, we like you, Matt.
Be our friend.
Oh, we want you in our.
That's too bad. Wow, I guess it was just too much going on, man.
Probably
broke his computer.
Yeah.
Well, we're actually getting close to the time here. Let's go ahead and just double check and see where we're at with the campaign.
Oh, we actually went up 26-64, and we got our 70-point backer.
Nice.
Very nice, man.
Well, 13 minutes to go, and we'll probably end up at best with an even 75, which is more than a third of the backers that we got for the Mythiverse. So
yeah, man, I think that's pretty good numbers.
Yeah. And I'll have to look over the backer report, but I'm relatively sure there were a lot of returning customers. Which means that people like our brand and they want to see more of it. And that's what's going to keep us sustained over the long term, is keeping those customers that have been interested in our work in the past. And of course, we got to pull in new ones, but you got to keep those foundational customers happy.
Exactly, and I talked to Matt a little bit already, but he said that he might relaunch it with Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and so I think that could be interesting as well.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, I see no reason not to.
Yeah, I don't either. Honestly, I think that more and more people are doing that. It seems to become more acceptable these days.
Right. Yeah, like what I plan to do is just launch an Indiegogo and a Kickstarter, with the goal being just enough to pay for printing and fulfillment. Because by then the book will be done, and any extra will be a bonus. I'll either give the excess to Leandro, or whatever the case might be. But yeah, we'll see.
Nice, man. Well, I definitely wish you luck at whichever you choose to launch it. Do you guys have kind of an estimated date yet as to when that Mythics might be coming back up on the crowdfunding scene?
Well, I don't know. I think all Matt's looking to do is to rework his script, and then I would recommend maybe he take a couple of weeks, or maybe as much as a month, to build up hype for the new campaign, and give Bethy a chance to come up with some more artwork to show off. Maybe a chance to make a new campaign video, or however we want to do it, just to make it a little bit more punchy this time around, and let people know more in advance when the date is, give them a chance to sign up in advance, and give them special perks if they do. And that's all up to Matt, though. He's in the driver's seat for this campaign. So those are my recommendations, but he has the final say so.
Nice. So definitely check out, follow him on Twitter, and keep up to date, and follow the Mythiverse on Twitter, and just make sure to see when the campaign relaunches.
Absolutely. One way or another, it's going to continue. So a lot of great stories on the way, folks. And thanks you to everyone who has shown us love during this campaign. We're not going to make it this time, but that's okay. Even if life beats you by a nose, like in Seabiscuit, you got to keep going. And we're going to keep going. And that's all there is to it. I mean, this is just like a little stumbling block in the road, but the road goes ever on, and we're going to keep going on.
Exactly. And as Cody always says, it's just a matter of time, right?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, Cody had a setback with Cactus Coyote, and he didn't stop. He went right on to his next campaign, and his campaign looked like it was on shaky ground, but he didn't give up, and everyone came together and got that funded miraculously and very, very happily. So even if that doesn't happen for us today, it'll happen for us next time. So, and
now Matt in the chat says he's going to try and be back on soon, but he definitely wants to say thank you to the backers.
Yes,
so
thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you to everyone, all of you. It's been a very respectable showing. I mean, he's made just under $2,700, and for relatively small unknown indie comic, that's quite a nice, respectable take. 75 backers. That's all 74 backers. That's all people that want to see more of Althea. So that's got to be encouraging. And that number is only going to grow once we try again and expand onto other platforms and get the word out there, get some more artwork out there, and get more people to know about Althea's story.
Exactly, man. Yeah, so this isn't the last time we'll be seeing Mythics. Is that right?
No, not the last time we're going to see Mythics. Mythics is the lore-heavy book in the Mythiverse. There's a lot going on in Mythics that does some solid world building for the rest of the universe. So it's an important part. It's an important arm branch of the Mythiverse tree, you might say. So it's not going anywhere.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that, man. That's excellent. Now, is there anything you'd like to say to the people out there, who backed the book, or people who maybe thinking about taking a look at the other Mythiverse books?
Yeah, these are books that are made by people that aren't out to become e-famous. We're not out to become wealthy, although that would be nice. What we're doing this for is we believe that stories are very important. We believe legends and myths are very important. This is why our stories are deeply rooted in them. This is why our stories have very strong connections to actual living legends. Like when we depict a creature out of mythology, it's going to be how they are depicted in mythology, because we don't believe in deconstructing them or retconning them. They are the way they are. They've endured as they have because they are the way they are. And these are all people that are doing it for the sheer love of it, and they would probably do it anyway, without the money. And I can speak to myself personally. It took me about 7 years of toil to complete Adobe Kroger Knight Errant, the novel. And that was a pure labor of love. And I even produced an audiobook for it because I really wanted the story told, not because I wanted to make a pile of money. And that's how we all sort of approach our own work, is that we would do this anyway. And we want other people to be able to share our stories so that they can see why we believe so strongly in them.
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I definitely know you guys are very passionate about the work, and I think it definitely shows through, in your writing and your interaction with the fans.
Yeah, we appreciate each and every last one of them. We don't take them for granted. We don't think we're anything special. We just choose to spend our time in a slightly different way to most people. That's all. And that time happens to be spent writing stories and collaborating with very talented artists to bring them to life.
Very nice.
Yeah, for my part, I mean, I'm bummed out that it didn't make goal, but that doesn't mean we can't try again. Trust me, if anyone knows about of failure. It's me because I had a period of my life where I was jobless for like 3 months, surviving by just stretching my tax refund, and I was just lucky to get a job, and I was lucky to finally actually land a job when it was down to my last month's rent. So yeah, because pretty much didn't have an option except just keep trying and hope something worked.
Well, it's not over until you're dead. So there was a lady that published a book called "And the Ladies of the Club" when she was 95, I want to say.
Wow.
So yeah, imagine if she had given up at 93 because she was too old.
That's true, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a good point. You're never too old to try something, and it's
No.
never too late to try something, really.
Not until you kick your oxygen addiction.
Well, I mean, either that or until reality finally wants to slap your mind and say, no, not mind over matter, matter over mind. Gotta stop now.
It's true. I mean, there is obviously a reasonable limitation. Like, I would not try out for the NBA, obviously, no matter how much I wanted to. But within reason, of course, I do believe that our goals are reasonable and can be attained.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, man.
And hey, I mean, honestly, even with just this campaign, it even shows that you guys are doing that very thing, showing people that you believe that these goals can be obtained and that they are reasonable. And it's really showing that if it wasn't for the timing, or even just, I'd say, like, because not necessarily like the coronavirus, or let's say it was last year and you guys did it and nothing was going on, it would have gone through in a sense, and it really shows that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that I've had a number of people tell me that they would love to back it, but they don't have a job. So who knows? Who knows what would have happened? But yes.
And yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how it kind of plays into the next campaign.
Yep. I'm excited, really. I mean, I'm excited to give it another shot, and I hope Matt is too, because I can't wait to give it another try.
Yeah, how many pages is the second issue of Mythics supposed to be?
I don't know. Matt would have to speak to that.
Actually, if I recall, I think he's at 24, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong, but it sounds reasonable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. I know it's a few more pages than we're in the first issue. It kind of gives a little more story there, which is cool.
Yeah, more story is always good.
Oh yeah. No one can complain about that.
Nope. All right, folks. Well, thanks for having me on. I gotta jet out right now. But,
no worries. Before you head out, maybe you could tell people where you can follow you online.
Absolutely. I'm at Dan_Sakuro and at Mythiverse on Twitter, spelled just like it sounds. And Matt's not here, but I know he's at Matt Trin. That's MATTRINH. And Brett?
Find me at Celtic Brett.
Awesome, man. Well, I do want to thank you guys for joining us today as we rang into the last hour of the Kickstarter. We're down to the last 2 minutes, so we just want to say thank you to all the people who backed the campaign, all the people who put their time and energy to support it and to spread the word. I know for the Mythiverse guys, I know it means the world to them. So it's very much appreciated, and this isn't the last time you'll be seeing the Mythiverse or the Mythics, for that matter. Mythics is going to come back stronger than ever. So definitely, if you loved it, keep your eyes up for it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, we're going to move on tomorrow, like it's just another day, and we're going to go on writing and drawing and pushing our work because we're just getting started here.
Exactly, man. Well, thanks again, guys, and if you're watching the chat, thank you for doing that as well. And we'll see you on the next episode, and let's get this thing done on the next round. I know we'll make it happen next time. So,
that's the thing. Like I said, you can always. Good thing about crowdfunding, you can always just try again.
Exactly. If it doesn't work the first time, come at it again, man.
Absolutely. All right, guys, take care. Good night.
Take care. We'll see you guys next
great
time.
one, Dan.